Hello, happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday. I forgot what day it was for a second.
Yes, we are usually here on Mondays, but life gets in the way sometimes. So we rescheduled to Sunday, and it's going to be a short show today. So thanks for checking in with us on your day off, or if you have to work on Sundays, thanks for taking a little break for us. Um, Before we kick off the show, just saying hi to some folks in the chat. John Self, as always, go take care of your Sunday morning responsibilities. We'll be here when you get back. Hello, as always, to Michael Bingham. Good to have you back again, and we will definitely be talking a little Super Mario for you
Yes,
today.
good.
And hello again to Blossom and Terry in Derek's Corner. Hello. We've got about a dozen people here, and like I said, it's going to be a brief show today. So let's just do this thing.
Do it.
Kick it off in 3, 2, 1.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 173 of the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. Carly, how has your first week of January 2023 been?
Very good. I am mostly just been getting hyped up for Festival of the Arts this week.
Yes.
So that is my personal favorite festival. I know Food and Wine is what started it all, but I think it's kind of become like a detriment to itself because it's so big and so popular. And Festival of the Arts is just perfect. The food is always so good.
And so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. The weather is wonderful, which is perfect for eating and drinking outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it has the best all around. A lot of my favorites return to the menu this year. So I am just so excited to be there this week for the opening day.
The big question is, would you stand in line for a Figment popcorn?
I don't do popcorn buckets unless it was something that I just was, not because it was a popcorn bucket, because it was some sort of IP that I was so emotionally connected to it that I couldn't live without it. No, it's just not my thing. I have one popcorn bucket. It's the Disneyland one. That's the replica of the opening day baby blue popcorn bucket. But I got that as like an artwork piece. Like I hung it on a wall. I don't do popcorn buckets.
I got to say, after seeing those last year when those were released, the line wrapping around the park, all the hype, and then I went back there a few days later and they'd switched it to mobile order, and I was able to just wander and pick one up. He's fine. He sits on top of my fridge, but I think one of those is enough for me.
I agree. I mean, if you, he has a new strap, if you so care to have a new version.
All about the new strap.
But if you love Figment so much, go do it. You know,
go for it.
You
sure.
do you, but you know, unless it's something that you really want. And you know, it really kind of affected the Pop Arts booth because people just wanted their grilled cheese and they couldn't get their grilled cheese.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's see. And then they switched it, like you said, to the mobile order in the pavilion. So let's see come Friday how they go about doing it, because we know it's going to be pandemonium. Figgy pandemonium.
I mean, it's not like they could possibly predict that these things would be popular and plan ahead for how to handle it. No, they had no idea that people would want.
And I had a few people reach out. They're like, if you go, can you get me one? I'm like, I'm sorry. I like you, but
I'm not becoming a personal shopper for your
no, and I'm not waiting in a line. And it was
got to draw the line somewhere. Well, I hope that I get to run into you next weekend over at the Festival of the Arts. I love that so much. And I got to head over to the Magic Kingdom for the first time this year and ride the Disney World Railroad for the first time in like 4 years. It's so good having it back. I really like the new narration. It's got an old-timey feel, but it pulls in a lot of new things. The ride trains looked great. The ride was nice and smooth. And I did 2 laps around. Both times got to see a testing train for the Tron coaster come
Ooh,
real close to that window in the tunnel underneath. I just hope they've got some lighting effects or something that's going to happen in the tunnel. There's some audio for Tron,
right.
and there's some light bulbs in there, but they don't seem to be doing anything at the moment. So.
Well, maybe in a couple years we'll find out when we get
Spring 2023. Spring 2023. We should finally have all this wrapped up. That's what
right.
they promised us.
It's
But
it's funny. I was talking to some people that work at Dollywood, and I was asking them about Big Bear, the new coaster that's coming,
mhm, mhm.
and they said as of this past week, it's like done. The
Oh
only thing
wow.
that's not done is the loading station.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, they just announced it,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it's done.
Not wasting any time. Well,
No,
we have one last thing in the comments right now. This is not part of our news in the queue, but our friend Eric O out in California mentions it's a sad day at
yes,
Universal Studios Hollywood. Today's the last day for the Animal Actors show in Universal Hollywood and the special effects show. Two very long running shows, a big part of Universal Hollywood history. Special effects show has been moved around and had different forms over the years, but that Animal Actors show, it's been tweaked over the years. It's very similar to the one we have here in Orlando, but I think the animals are actually a little better trained out in Hollywood.
yes. I was gonna say I like Animal Actors in Orlando, but like since it's on location, it's almost like a gimmick of what the show in Hollywood is, which is like
Hmm.
legit. Here's the owl from Harry Potter.
Hmm.
It's like it has that just kind of authentic, whether it's real, or not, it's magic. But that was such a great show. But
Yeah.
Waterworld will
Uh,
stand the test of time.
Amen. Waterworld will outlast them all. Yeah,
All of
I
us.
do hope. I do hope that they can find some more entertainment for Universal Hollywood. It's supposed to be the entertainment capital of the world, and there's not a lot of shows left with those two gone. I do hear that they are bringing the Frog Choir back permanently. It was just during the holidays for a while, so that'll help a little, hopefully. And hopefully it'll be worth it when we see the Fast and the Furious roller coaster that's being built. That's the cause of taking this out. So we'll see that in a few
Shall
years.
see, yeah.
All right.
Regardless, it's an exciting time for them. So
Yes.
let's go.
All right. Well, I think it is now time for us, without any further ado, to get into the news. First up, it's not quite the old Disney dining plan, but Disney is rolling out a dining promotion card worth up to $750 discount on food in your Disney stay. That's coming to the Walt Disney Resort for the summer of 2023.
I have to say, I did like a round of slow golf claps when this came out because this is the first time in a long time that I feel like Disney World announced something that was not only easy to understand what it was, but actually could be really good for
Mhm.
people planning trips. I
All right.
love this. Love
So,
this.
so here's the story. If you book a stay between June 25th and September 14th of 2023, so basically the summer into the early fall of 2023, um, if you purchase a 5-night, 4-day room and ticket package with no discounts, then you can get up to $750 on a dining card that you can use to buy food and drinks at participating locations throughout Disney World Resort. And we'll get into the fine print on that in a second.
Right.
The amount of money that you get depends on what level of hotel you're staying in. So, if you are staying, say, in a value resort, you might get $35 for a night. But if you are staying in a deluxe resort, you can get up to $150 for each night. It's not based on how many people. So whether you've got one person in the room or 4 people in the room, you get the same amount of money. It's just based on the hotel level and the number of nights.
Yes, and this was another thing. I was writing a story about this for Travel and Leisure this week. It's per reservation too. So if
Mm.
you were doing like a multi-gen trip and booking rooms for like grandma you
Ooh.
would only get one card.
Oh, well, that's a
So
good reason to split your reservation up.
split your reservations if you're booking multi-rooms. I know a lot of people do this, especially coming in the summer for those big family trips. Book each one on a separate reservation. Otherwise, you'll just get one card.
Okay, so here's some of the fine print that you have to know about. Um, it's not the old dining plan where you got a credit for a meal and you just sit down and you get whatever you want to order off of the dining plan menu. This is just a dollar amount that acts as a gift card. But it's different from a regular gift card because you cannot use it for merchandise or at the candy kitchens. It's not good at the Swalfin. It's not good at the Four Seasons. It's not good if you're staying at a Disney Springs area hotel or like Bonnet Creek or the Gateway hotels. It's not good at those hotels. You can get a card for staying at those hotels, but you won't be able to use it on your hotel property. And there might be individual items that are not allowed. They're kind of vague about the exact
Right.
details.
They do
Um,
say cart, so I'm thinking you should be able to use it if you're buying like a Mickey ice cream bar, a bottle of
yes.
water, which a lot of times if you've ever used like a Disney dining gift card, you can't use them at carts. This promo card seems
Mhm.
to be at least a little bit more inclusive to what you can use it at.
Yes, I'm hoping that also includes, Epcot festival booths. The other thing is I did not see in the fine print that alcohol was not allowed. So hopefully you will be able to use this on alcohol.
Yes, and then, like, for the restaurants, because it says participating restaurants, so I
Mhm.
logged in like I was going to purchase it the other day,
Mm.
and it said, "Click here for a list of participating restaurants," and then it just brought me to the page of all the
All
Disney
restaurants.
full service restaurants, so I'm wondering if maybe, in fact, we will be able to use it. I mean, again, obviously not at, like, Il Molino, at the Dolphin and whatnot,
Mhm.
but all, like, Disney World restaurants.
Yeah, I would expect that anything, certainly anything that's a first party Disney owned restaurant on property, it'll
Mhm.
be good at. But yeah, it's possible that some of these third party licenses may not participate. Magic City Mayhem suggests the Gibsons may not participate. They own Boathouse
Yep.
in Disney Springs. So yeah, make sure if you are going to one of these that you ask before you get served if you're going to be able to use your card, so you don't have any surprises when the bill arrives. And if you want to plan a trip in these dates, you can give a call over to Mouse Fan Travel or visit mousefantravel.com, and they will help you out. The one thing that I thought was really interesting about this is just for the summer. This is not, traditionally they used to give out discounts to drive demand during slow periods in like, late winter, early spring, or the fall. And summer used to be a busy time because kids were out of school and they wouldn't need to do extra promotions. We've seen summer attendance has steadily dropped over the last few years. And while, periods that used to be slower have gotten busier and busier. So it's interesting that they're offering this specifically to drive demand during the summer period.
Right. Yeah. And it's like you have to remember, like, this is also you're paying full rack room, which is interesting because in the same announcement, they're like, we're also doing 25% off spring and summer visits. And this was
Right.
literally in the same announcement if anyone saw like the Disney Parks blog post. So you really got to look at, can I get a
Uh,
better discount booking
This is
that?
You are absolutely 100% correct. This is a reason why, if you're booking a Disney vacation, you either need to be good with Excel spreadsheets and spending a lot of time pulling up figures on Disney's website, or find yourself a good travel agent like Mouse Fan Travel, because they will tell you if, yeah, okay, you're getting $500, $700 in Disney dining promo. But if we had gone this way and used this discount, you could have saved even more money. That that happens. The free food is always very attractive to people, and they don't necessarily know always if they're really getting the best value, especially if for whatever reason you don't use up that entire dining promo card before your vacation is over. Then that's money right back in Mickey's pocket.
Right. But it is much easier than dealing with credits and ending
Yeah.
your trip
Oh,
with like 30
yes.
Mickey Rice crispy heads because you have to
Exactly. We've got 17 premium Mickey bars in the mini fridge melting because we had to use up our snack credits, right? Yeah, we've all been there for sure. I'm personally glad that they're going this route and not bringing back the dining plan because I never used the dining plan and it had a horrible impact on menus throughout the resort.
Right.
I think the dining plan was responsible for a lot of the dumbing down of food at Walt Disney World, and so I'm not eager to see it come back personally.
I've actually never used it either because
Yeah,
there's just no way unless I just you have to eat so much.
yeah, yeah.
It's just so
Not
I like this promo card. Let's see if they maybe make this a regular thing and then maybe they'll roll out something for the fall too.
Yep. Okay, next up. Well, on the subject of Disney not always keeping their promises, it is well over 1,000 days later, and Walt Disney World has still not brought back all of its theme park parking trams. They missed the deadline that was promised by the end of the year. This article was published on January 4th, and as of then, it was 1,023 days since
Oh
the
god.
parking trams stopped. That's an awful lot of, of days. The good news is that you can get a parking tram again at Magic Kingdom or at Animal Kingdom. Magic Kingdom, it can be up to 1,850 steps from your car to the ticket or transportation ticket center, and then another 1,850 on the way back. So thank goodness we have the trams back at Magic Kingdom. But we're still looking at you, Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
Yes. I will say it is significantly more awful to walk really far in Magic Kingdom parking lot, I think at least, than the layout of Epcot and Hollywood is a little bit better
Hmm.
with walking to your car.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still not great, but and from my perspective, I'm already walking 10 miles a day. That little extra bit of agony is just a part of the terrain. But I know it's hard with
yeah.
people with strollers and
And
backpacks.
and there are folks with disabilities who it takes all of their energy just to spend a few hours in the park. And if you're
Mhm.
already exhausted by the time you step through the turnstiles, that's hard for some people. Um,
Right.
I personally, unless I am parked way out in yonder in Kissimmee, I'm usually one who opts to just walk rather than wait for a tram.
Yeah.
But even me, there are times that you get out the end of the night and it's been a long day, and the last thing you do want to do is hike another mile to get back to your car.
Yeah.
Lots of speculation in this article about why it's taken so long, why they missed their self-imposed deadline of the end of 2022 to bring it back. And I think a lot of it probably comes down to staffing.
Right.
The staffing shortages in every industry, and trying to lure people in this job market to stand in a parking lot all day, or drive around a tram. Not all that appealing for a lot of potential employees. And they might have just decided that, hey, people aren't complaining that much about it. So as long as we don't have to pay people to drive a tram, it's better for us. That they haven't lowered the parking price for the lots that don't have trams. So I guess that's a little bit more profit, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will come back someday. Or maybe they'll just take the villain con moving walkway technology and just spread it
Ooh,
all throughout all the parking lots,
give it to me. That's perfect.
because the moving walkways always work so well at Universal's parking garage, right? Those are never stopped and just
Never.
sitting there, never, never. All right, and for our last piece of news in the queue, Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay, has released their 2023 event lineup, and it is packed. And you can enjoy all of the events, or at least most of them, by getting a special buy one get one free Busch Gardens Tampa Bay Fun Card right now, where you buy Busch Gardens Tampa Bay and you get Adventure Island for free.
Ooh, you can't beat that. Especially they really do put on a lot of wonderful events, and these include both like family activities like the Sesame Street's Kids Weekend Spooktacular, and then of course the stuff more adult tailored like Food and Wine Festival, which has
hmm
become very popular.
Yep. They have really grown their special events, both their music festivals and, like you say, their food and alcohol events. Really blown up at both SeaWorld and Busch Gardens to kind of rival stuff that
Oh
Universal
yeah.
and Disney does. And this year, they are going to be adding a new ride later this year. Serengeti Flyer is going to be the world's tallest and fastest swing ride. So that
Ooh.
should give you an interesting new perspective on the Serengeti plain where they have the animals roaming.
So don't go to
Uh,
Food and Wine Festival before going on this.
Probably a bad choice. Yeah, probably a bad choice. So here's that buy one get one free offer right now. You can buy a 2023 Fun Card, which is basically the price of 1 day ticket to Busch Gardens, and then you get the rest of the year for free. And right now they are throwing in Adventure Island Water Park Fun Card for free on top of it. So that'll be valid through December 31st of 2023. But keep in mind that Fun Card doesn't get you any parking or admission to hard ticket events like Hollow Scream.
Yeah.
You can upgrade to a full annual pass to get some discounts on those things. So they've got a packed lineup, and we're not going to read every detail, but we're just going to kind of fly through the dates here. It's starting off real soon. January 14th is their Mardi Gras kickoff. That seems awfully early for Mardi Gras, doesn't it? I
Right.
guess. Um,
Well, because Universal starts like February 4th or something,
yeah,
a ways.
yep. So that's Mardi Gras is happening January 14th through March 5th. They've got a real music series starting January 17th through February 26th, kind of overlapping. And they've got acts like they're mostly cover band acts like the Kings of Queens and Elton John and Billy Joel impersonators.
Fun.
Um, Sesame Street Weekends is also happening January 27th through May 21st on select weekends. Food and Wine Festivals back March 10th through May 21st. They've also got some big name acts for that this year, like 38 Special and Flo Rida.
Flow Rida.
Flo Rida.
I was able to say.
Cinco de Mayo is being celebrated over May 5th through 7th, and Viva la Musica is May 5th through the 21st. Um, and then we get into summer nights, May 26th through August 6th. That's happening every day with a 4th of July celebration happening June 30th through July 4th. Then Beer Fest comes around July 21st through September 4th and Labor Day. And we wrap it up with Hallow Scream, September 8th through the 31st. And that's also got the family-friendly Spooktacular happening on the same dates. And, of course, Christmas Town from November 13th through January 7th of next year. So this year, everything kind of wrapped up on January 1st because of holiday falling on a weekend. But next year, we're going to get an extra week of holiday celebrations all the way through January 7th.
So basically, whenever you visit, there will be something going on.
Yes. Yes. Plenty of stuff to keep you occupied if you don't just want to ride Iron Gwazi over and over and
Over and
over
over and
again.
over.
Okay. So that brings us to the end of the news in the queue. But before we get into this week's big story, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and Mousefan Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
All right, here we go. And the main attraction this week, we got a sneak preview inside Super Nintendo World at Universal Hollywood. And we apologize to all of the annual pass holders who tried to get themselves registered for the pass holder previews that are coming up real soon. We'll talk a little bit about that meltdown. But our writer, Mike Celestino, was invited inside. He was only allowed to take some specific pictures. Couldn't reveal all the secrets, but he got to learn a lot. He got to see a lot, and he got us really, really excited for this new land.
Yes, I was very, very excited to say the least. But after seeing this again, like he wasn't allowed to do, no one there was allowed to do wide shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna have to, I mean, not like you could really tell in a picture what it's really going to be like, because it is a 360. Once you walk through that pipe, it's like a 360 immersive experience, which is going to be really hard to capture.
Yeah.
Anyway, on video and film.
Yeah, we've got extensive details. If you want to remain spoiler free, you might want to tune out now or not read the article, because you get to see a lot and you get to find out a lot about what's going to be in there. But basically, this is the equivalent to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter for Nintendo video game fans. It's a world that totally blocks out the rest of the theme park. It's immersive. It is participatory, and totally authentic to the brand and the IP.
Right. And they work directly with
Yes, Nintendo is really hands-on in the whole process, and it shows. So like you mentioned, everything starts with a green warp pipe. And if you know the Super Nintendo, the Super Mario games, it's all about the green warp pipes that take you from one world to another, and that's how you're going to enter this world down on the lower level of the studios. You will have to get a reservation, and we'll chat a little bit about that later to get in. But once you're inside, you walk through the green warp pipe that's got lighting effects as you walk through it, and you enter into Peach's castle. And from there, you open out into the land. And you're right. We've seen videos from the version in Japan, which has a slightly different arrangement and layout, slightly larger. But very similar in terms of the aesthetics. And what I think is coolest about this is everything is moving. Everything is kinetic. Yes. I personally think that something that separates a good theme park land from a great theme park land is your eye constantly being drawn to motion, that it's not just a static painting, but that there's always something going on, and there's always something different catching your eye. It's why I think Pandora works, because it's got all the waterfalls and it's got the movement of the trees, whereas Galaxy's Edge kind of doesn't, because it's just like mountains and buildings with nothing moving around it.
100%. And that's kind of how I also feel in Diagon Alley, is that there's always, no matter how many times you go in, you're seeing something, and it's just that really brings you in, the sights, the sound, moving features. So I mean, I'm hyped for this.
Yeah, so this takes that to the next level. As the article describes, you're going to see Goombas and power-up mushrooms and piranha plants all around, up at different levels above you, around you, and they're all animated. They're articulated. They're animatronic. And they're constantly creating this sense of activity and life all around you. And I think that's really important for creating a space that you want to explore and look around.
Absolutely. And again, like, it is going to be small because it's smaller than Japan. They didn't have a ton of room to work with, but I think it's going to be, good things sometimes come in smaller packages. I think this is going to be, pretty epic.
Yeah. It is small, but they've still managed to fit in pretty much all of the interactive features that they have in
Mhm.
Japan. You know, if you are the kind of person who's like, I don't want to buy a magic band, I don't want to buy an interactive wand, you might still want to buy a power-up band
Yes.
because you really are not going to get the full value of this experience without one. I don't think. I mean, you can go easily to Disney without a magic band and get it everything done with your phone and the Play
Right.
Disney app. Like, the Bounty Hunter game is not worth getting a magic band just for that.
No.
And at Universal, you can still go and watch the wand show and you can watch other people trigger the interactive effects and get the gist of it. But
Right.
I really think that if you're not punching the blocks yourself, if you're not participating in these games and searching for keys yourself, then you're going to be missing out on something, especially since there is a special game that you can only enter. You can
Mhm.
play if you've bought a power-up band and collected a certain number of keys. And that's the only way you can go and challenge Bowser Jr. in this really fun interactive video game.
Right, and then, like, with the band, you can also it keeps score for you, but you can also link to your friends, other people in your group, your family, and then you guys can see each other's scores, and it really adds that interactive gameplay level that they were promising with the land
Hmm.
through that power up band, and obviously the key challenge you're gonna wanna do. That sounds really fun,
Yeah.
and you're seeing all these things move, but now you can actually really interact with them, and also they said that the characters are going to know what your score is. So I don't know if that means they're going to like roast you because you don't have a good score.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because that was something we were always promised at Galaxy's Edge, that the characters would know
Right.
if you crashed the Millennium Falcon. And that never really happened, did it?
No.
But these characters are, they're not just walk around characters. They are interactive. They can communicate a lot like the interactive Mickey used to be able to. So yeah, that would be great if Mario knows that you're a terrible driver and calls you out for it. That
Yes.
would be hilarious. As speaking of driving, the e-ticket, the headliner ride here is Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and let's get the elephant out of the room right out of the way. This is not a high speed test track 60-mile-an-hour experience. This is a slow moving dark ride that is accessible for a wide range of you know thrill adverse people, but it uses really advanced augmented reality technology to make it feel like you're going a lot faster than you are, and to let you interact and basically play Mario Kart for real.
Right. Yeah. And we didn't get to go on the ride yet, but we have some
Yep.
pictures of the queue
Yes,
and it looks
amazingly
super
detailed
cool.
queue, like up there with Hogwarts Castle. Even more Easter eggs.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like pictures, like I said, are not going to do it justice. So it doesn't, I don't care about being spoiled by seeing
Yeah.
all this because I feel like our jaws are just going to be dropped when we walk through that pipe and see it in
Yeah.
real life.
We have a video on our YouTube channel with a overview of the Japanese version of the ride, which is 99.99% identical. They've got some extra queue area in Hollywood, I think, but that's about it. But if you've never used virtual reality or augmented reality before, even if you have, it's probably going to take a few laps on this ride to get used to it. You're steering, you're looking around, you're shooting shells. There's a lot going on, and I think it's going to be total sensory overload the first couple times that you ride this. So it might take a few laps to get a good score.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking, I was like, the first time, I don't even know if I want to play because I want to like watch and
Right.
see everything. And then because you're going to be focused on, playing the game, but it's just nice to kind of go around and look. And that's kind of how I feel now on Smuggler's Run. I don't
Hmm.
even want to be the pilot because it's way too much stress. Stick me in the back and I just want to see everything.
Yeah, just slap the buttons and
Yeah.
just pay no attention. One thing we are not getting in Hollywood that they have in Japan is the Yoshi Dark Ride.
Mm.
It's a slow-moving Omnimover ride, and it's very similar in style to Secret Life of Pets, except from videos I've watched, I think Secret Life of Pets has got more detail. So that's probably not a big loss. Um, and there's no Donkey Kong roller coaster yet. I'm hearing rumors that they want to add Donkey Kong as a phase 2. But they're going to have to say goodbye to some sound stages in order to make that happen. Because, like you said, it's a real
Right.
tight fit there in Hollywood. They already, this is built on the land of, I think it was called Soundstage 28. It was the haunted soundstage.
Mhm.
I think it went back to Phantom of the Opera or something like that.
Yeah,
So
it's
hopefully
just
these attractions won't be haunted too.
no, it's insane. Like if you've been on the studio tour, tram tour recently, you go down this little pathway, like a road on the right,
Hmm.
you're at the back side of the castle, and
Hmm.
then right across the street is a soundstage. But I don't even mean like a street. It's like the width of like 2 or 3
You
lanes.
you could you could almost stretch your hands out and touch both
Yeah,
sides. It's getting really
tight.
crowded back there.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is tight. So I don't know how much expansion they could do, but this is gonna be obviously a insanely successful opening. Has to be. So maybe they'll figure something out.
Yeah, well, so, there's a lot more to talk about this that we go into the article. There's food. The dining is going to be adorable. Really highly themed, very Instagrammable food. Merchandise, of course. Um, the whole thing is kind of overwhelming, and what I am hoping is that they are able to manage the crowd flow. This is, like we said, this is down at the bottom level of the studios. So first, you got to get all those people down that giant escalator. And they have set up kiosks on the lower level outside the Transformers ride, where they will dispense kind of virtual queue tickets, return time tickets. It's also going to be available inside the app, from what I'm hearing. And the
Yeah,
app will
so
probably be the better way to go.
I love Universal Studios Hollywood. It is one of my favorite parks for many reasons. I am concerned about technology. Their app is not the greatest. Like we just were able to recently have our annual passes link into the app.
Mhm, mhm.
Like
Yep,
I'm not talking do anything fancy. Like that just got integrated into like scanning the barcode.
yep.
So I am a little concerned about all of this technology rollout. And as was evident with the annual pass holder preview registration
All right,
last
let's
week.
chat a little about that. So as this article was published on the 7th, and when it came out, it was supposed to be in the middle of the annual pass holder registration. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a meltdown with their computer system, and to their credit, when Disney has one of these registrations and they have a meltdown, they just give you that little Millennium Falcon or
Oh,
whatever spinning
yeah.
and tell you, keep waiting. It'll be another 9 hours. And people waste 9 hours, 10 hours. At least Universal, when they figured out that this was not going to happen, finally said, we're just not doing this. We're going to try it again another day instead of letting people sit there for 12 hours. But I
Right.
know there were people who were just trying to hit the website over and over.
No, and I saw a lot of people that took off from work, which I do the same thing. Like when Oogie Boogie tickets go on sale, I block my day because I'm like, I'm going to be in this queue for
Yeah.
6 hours. So it stinks. But they did, and they, like you said, they handled it well and they got ahead of it really quickly. They put out an announcement. So
Yeah. So the news is that if you're listening to this live, you've got a chance on Monday, tomorrow, January 9th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That is when they're going to open up the system again. You have to be an annual pass holder and you have to already have an activated ticket. So if you're sitting at home in Florida like me, you can't buy a pass today and try to book a reservation for this preview tomorrow, unless you want to fly in and walk through the turnstiles tonight. Um,
yes. Uh,
so,
to be totally honest, I have an annual pass. I am not going to do this
mhm.
because I think it's going to be pandemonium. And I'd like them to flush it out a little bit so that my first visit is really magical. So I have
I
hope. to do that.
I have a very narrow window. I have to visit California by March 8th in order to get stuff ready for the next edition of the Disneyland unofficial guide. So, sometime between February 17th and
Perfect.
March 8th, I will have to be there. But yes, I am. I think that if you are attending the annual pass holder previews, you've got to keep in mind that this is a preview. You are there to be a guinea pig. You're not, you're there to enjoy it and you're there to help them, get hype for it. But you're mostly there so that the team members can practice pushing bodies through the attractions. And practice makes perfect. So bring your patience. It's going to be a cluster. It always is.
Yep.
But that's the price you pay for being one of the first people to get to ride a new attraction.
Right, and also, like, food and beverage is definitely gonna be a challenge, and I feel like that's gonna be so popular because the food and beverage here is basically an attraction in of
Hmm.
itself. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they keep up the consistency, and obviously with the demand, because we know
Yes.
everyone wants all that adorable food, which we don't even know what it is yet because they've been really tight-lipped with exception of announcing some of the things at Toadstool Cafe, but from what we've seen in Japan, there's so many adorable little snacks
Hmm.
stuff. So
Can't wait to try them all.
yes.
All right. Well, hopefully in just over a month, we will have a full report when it officially opens. All right. Well, that just about brings us to the end of our show. Before we go, we want to thank our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, once again. And I want to remind everyone, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating on Spotify. It really helps get the word out about the show. If you want more coverage from us and from Attraction Magazine on the interwebs, you can find me at the UG series on Twitter, at the Unofficial Guides on Instagram, and at theunofficialguides.com. Carly, where can everyone find you?
Yes, I am on Twitter at Carly Caramana and on Instagram at Adventures by Carly.
And as always, the entire Attractions Magazine team is here for you 24/7 at attractionsmagazine.com, at Attractions on Twitter, at Attractions Magazine on Instagram, at youtube.com/Attractions Magazine, and on TikTok at Attractions. Until next week, we hope that you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.